Hi guys, and welcome to the Gillingham vs Sunderland match review. So, we did get ourselves back 2 winning ways away from home at Gillingham at Priestfield Stadium. Now, before I do get into it, I just want to quickly address something. So, I know that recently I've been doing my match reviews sort of the day after a game. Now, usually I didn't feel like I need to explain myself on this, but essentially what it is I work and my job is a support worker for adults with learning disabilities and challenging behaviours. So I start my shift at 10 a.m. in the morning and I don't finish until 10 a.m. the following morning. So I'm away from the computer and I'm away from home for 24 hours essentially on my shifts. And I only get 1 weekend off a month. Whether my shifts fall on the Saturday or the Sunday, that's random. But sometimes it does start on the Saturday like it did yesterday. Luckily, unfortunately, sometimes at work I can watch the game. So I did manage to watch the game yesterday at work, but I can't do a review. Now, the reason I'm explaining this is because recently, that's just the way it's fell, I've been working on Saturdays, so I can't do the review to the next day, but I'm still getting messages on Instagram or on Twitter just saying like, why is your review late? Where's the review? Are you not doing a review today? It's just like, calm down, I'm just at work, do you know what I mean? So it's just so you know in the future that, I could be working, which I was. So I finished work at 10 o'clock this morning, sat down here, and here we are. So there's your explanation, okay? Like the video, thank you. But anyway, getting into the game, of course, it's a brilliant 2-1 win, but it definitely wasn't without its drama. So getting into the game, when you look at the formation, you look at the system, it was kind of expected given the mass amount of injuries we've got. The injuries we've got at the minute, we've got McGeady, Diaku, Broadhead, Gooch, Evans, Huggins, and of course a long-term one of Willis as well. You've got 7 first-teamers there, and predominantly all from the final third, or the majority from the final third, leaving us with very, very little options. So it ended up being a very, very narrow system and narrow-minded performance, really, in the first half anyway. Because if you look at the lineup, we had Hoffman in goal, we had Sirkin, Flanagan, Doyle, Winchester. In the middle, we had Dan Neil and Luke O'Nien. Then just in front of them, but still very central, was Pritchard and Embleton. Then in front of them, we had O'Brien and Ross Stewart. So like I say, very narrow side, very narrow system. But again, it was kind of as expected. Given the majority of the injuries we've got were from the final third, or wingers as well. So, getting into the game, and you can see from the off, Gillingham were quite happy sitting back and just allowing us possession. They were quite happy with us, playing it around the back in our half or having any kind of possession in our half. But the second we cross over into theirs, then that is when they would start to put the press on us and do a high press into us and force us back into our own half, and then let us go, and then they drop back again. So it was a really good system from them, and it was very clear that they would have been quite happy with a point or maybe playing a counter-attack. But I think to combat this negative or this sort of defensive system, if you like, of Gillingham's, we needed to up the tempo and we needed to move off the ball. We needed to move the ball quickly, make them think, force them into working, and we made it so friggin' easy for him. It was shit. It was so bad. You had, Flanagan or Doyle would be playing it around across the back. Dan Neil, or to be fair to Dan Neil, he did really try and work things at times. But O'Nien, he was very poor in that first half. And Embo and Pritchard the same. There was just no movement, just kind of walking around off the ball, and then every now and then they'd come deep for it, pick it up, and then give it back to the defence, and nothing was happening. Absolutely nothing was happening. And because we had no wing play either. We had Embo, Pritchard, O'Nien, Dan Neil, all very central-minded players in the midfield. And then you've got Sirkin and Winchester, who we were relying on for any form of width, Winchester being a central midfielder himself. So, we were getting no width, no crosses in the box, and it got to the point where even Ross Stewart and O'Brien were getting frustrated. So they were coming deep to try and get the ball, but because they've come deep to pick up the ball, when they're turning around to see if anyone's there's no bugger there. So it was just really, really poor. It was very, very poor. We offered nothing. And the couple of times we did manage to kind of get forward, Pritchard, for example, I don't want to sound like I'm digging him out, because Embleton did a similar thing once or twice, but a good 2 or 3 times when Pritchard did it, he would actually manage to get forward. He's got a bit of space going forward, and on the break, rather than either driving into the space that he's got in front of him, or playing the pass, O'Brien and Stewart making decent runs in behind, or shoot, he's got those are his options. But instead he takes far too long the ball, doesn't do either, and he loses it. And that happened a good 2 or 3 times with Pritchard, and it was very, very frigging frustrating. But I can't pin it all on him. Like I say, Embleton did the same thing. We had no width, there was no other type of play going into the box for Stewart or O'Brien. And it was Gillingham, all it would do, it just force us, pass the ball along the back, and Flanagan would get frustrated and eventually just hoof it up top. And then it just runs straight through there to their keeper, and then they break. And to give it to Gillingham, they look very dangerous in the first half. They bullied us physically, getting forward and in the box. Defensively, generally this season, I think we've looked like we've sort of had a plan. We know what we're doing, but yesterday, like I say, the first half in particular, we were all over the place. It was like a fucking under-8s game, when just all the players just huddled together and just chased after the ball, like a kids' game. That's what it was like in the box. It was shocking, terrible. There were so many scrambles, saves from Hoffman, who had an insane game, which we'll get more into later on. But they were pinging balls into the box, making us work, scrambles in the box, shooting, testing Hoffman. And it looked like it was only Gillingham that were going to score because we looked so dead going forward in the final third. And eventually we tried to scramble the ball away and get it away. Oh no, he's tried to hack the ball away. He said he's accidentally taken out the player. It's a penalty. It's given and they score it. Send Hoffman the wrong way. And then eventually we did somehow manage to get an equaliser, even though we just looked like we were kind of bending over and asking for it because we were so frigging soft. And like I say, the creativity wasn't there. We do manage to get that little bit of quality from who else but Dan Neil on the right-hand side. We finally get a cross into the box. And like LJ said after the game, in that first half, we had no crosses of significance. We had no width. We had no wide play at all. We probably thought that we would get enough creativity out of Pritchard and Embleton just playing centrally. But it just didn't work because they crowded us out and we didn't ask any questions of their fullbacks. But in relation to our equaliser, should I say, Neil gets on the right hand side from deep, he whips it in, it's a gorgeous ball in, absolutely gorgeous. It just misses Ross Stewart, but then to be fair to O'Brien, he just sneak in at the back post, he sneaks around his man around the back and he managed to thump it home right in the stroke half time to make it 1-1. Absolutely undeserved, but O'Brien, fair play to him, brilliantly done there, fights to get his goal, and he is, if nothing else, he's an absolute fighter, is O'Brien. That's what I like out of him. So half time, 1-1, it isn't deserved by any stretch. But second half, you could tell that Lee Johnson had got him in at half time and had a good word with him, told him to be more physical. You're fighting against men here, you're acting like boys. Get more physical, but also play wide. You can see that that's exactly what he's told him to do. And we did. We upped the tempo. The tempo was increased. The intensity was increased. Were we insanely good? No, we weren't. But in comparison to the first half, absolutely. Moving the ball a lot better, quicker. As soon as the ball's been given, be it Pritchard or Embo, is giving it and immediately moving rather than static and staying still and staying deep. And we're doing it, the Sirkin was linking up well with, Pritchard or Embo on one side, and same with Winchester and Embo on the other. Little 1-2s, overlapping runs. We're getting much more of that. And that's what I was liking to see. And we started to ask questions of their fullbacks and we're taking them on, getting balls in the box. And eventually it paid off early on in that second half. Balls put in, we're just pinging ball after ball after ball in. And I'd rather us do that than do nothing and show no kind of intent. And we did get the ball in towards the back post. And it's a really, really brave header from Tom Flanagan, who, over the last couple of years, I'll probably give a bit too much shit on this channel, but I'll stand by it at times. But he's been brilliant this season. He's been absolutely brilliant. But the ball comes in, like I say, he's brave. He's got in between the post and the defender, flung himself at the ball, nodded it in to make it 2-1. And he's actually he's hurt himself in the process. But Flanagan and Flano, Flano being Flano, he gets up and continues with the game. So, we continue, and it gets to a bit of a, what's the word? A bit of a divided moment across social media. Now, Elliot Embleton, he celebrates his new deal, because he got a new deal last week, of course, which is really good. I really like Embleton. We've managed to tie him down for a few more years, not physically of course, that's a bit aggressive, but we've tied him down to a new deal for a few more years. But he celebrated it by picking himself up a red card. Now, what do I think of the red card? I think it's a red card. I think it's a red card. I can see why people saying it isn't. It's not two-footed. He has tucked 1 foot in, so it is one-footed. Is it raised? Not particularly. But the manner in which he's gone in, it's unbelievably late. He was never going to get there. He's done it out of frustration. He's gone there to hurt the man. You can see that. His purpose gone in late out of frustration because he's lost the ball and he's give it away and it's run loose. And he's running at full velocity. It's all well and good. I've seen on social media people showing screenshots and going, oh yeah, but his foot's nearly on the ground. It's not that raised. And he's only gone in with 1 foot type thing. And I get that. It's not necessarily stood showing her out like that. But what a screenshot doesn't show is the absolute fucking velocity that he has absolutely flung himself at the player trying to take him down with. Do you know what I mean? And so unnecessarily. And it's so late. I mean, if it was a bit closer, it was a bit more of a 50-50, then fair enough. But he's gone in there with no intention of getting the ball. It happens. Everyone loses the red sometimes. And Embo he's paid the price for it. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't help. It was Steve Evans barking at the sideline and the players, crowding around the ref. And the player who did get taken out by Embo rolling around like he'd be shot in the fucking forehead. Not that you would be able to do that if you got shot in the forehead. But you know what I mean? It's very dramatic. So he gets himself sent off. And then we have to show a completely different kind of performance, just as we were playing well as well in that second half. You know, like I say, it wasn't, you know, the best of performances, but it was much improved from the first. And just as soon as we start to get the ball moving with that, Embo gets himself sent off, and he's a lucky man because we somehow managed to scrape a 2-1 win. Because Gillingham after that, you know, we went all hands on deck. We just sat so deep on the edge of our box. They were pumping ball after ball after ball. Hoffman got tested a good 2 or 3 times, and my God, has he made one of the best saves I've ever seen. Anyway, it was like the 87th, 88th minute. You have the ball on the right-hand side. They pumped it in diagonally to the left, and I think, I don't know whether it was a defender who got the red in the ball in the end, but he's managed to fling himself. I think it was over Winchester on that side. He's got the header. It looks like it's destined for that top right-hand corner. It's come at some, you know, at some speed as well and some power. The header. It looks like he's looping over Hoffman to that top right, and he's somehow dived and tipped it onto the far post, and we've managed to get it away. But my God, what a save that is. Manuel Neuer-esque, I will say, seen at the Priestfield yesterday. But, you know, we had Will Harris who come on late on to try and just do a bit of pressing up top. Ross Stewart did really good defensively. In the second half, Luke O'Nien was very different to the first. You know, he put his body on the line as we expect everyone did. And we defended for our lives, which shows that, you know, we managed to get away with the win. 3 points. It was hard fought. First half performance was terrible. We looked miles better for the first part of the first chunk of the second before the sending off. But we had to put out a completely different performance. You know, we had to be physical. Lee Johnson alluded in his post-match interview that he said to the lads, you know, we're fighting against men here. We need to be men. We need to be more physical. And that's exactly what they were in the second half. And we had to, particularly after the sending off. We needed to play dirty a little bit at times. And maybe Embleton took it a little bit too literally. But yeah, we had to show a completely different side to our game. You know, I think generally our style of play this season has been very nice, quick, on the floor football, pretty football at times. And I think some teams might look at us and think, oh, they won't like it if we get in the face. We need to show that we do have a plan B. It's not always pretty football slick on the floor. We can get in your face and bully you just as much as, you know, you can bully us. And I think we've shown that at times in the second half. You know, we went all hands on deck, as I say. Bailey Wright come on, defended really well, filling his head at everything. And it was just a real team performance, and I like to see that sometimes, you know. But, you know, so we see it out, 3 points, really good to get back to winning ways. We're in fourth now, of course. We have a couple of games in hand over Plymouth, who were top. We have a game in hand over Wycombe, who were second. Of course, we're level on points with Wigan, who were third. Wigan, who battered Bolton yesterday, 4-0. But yes, so the table's looking healthy, but, you know, the amount of times we've seen over the last 2 or 3 seasons in League One where we've had this kind of position before, we've got games in hand, it looks like, you know, if we win those, we'll piss the league type thing. But how many times have we seen it? You need to make sure you make the most of those games in hand and win them. So we've got Crewe on Tuesday, and apparently none of the lads who are injured look like they're going to be ready to return. And we're without Embleton as well, so Lee Johnson has one hell of a frigging job on his hands to choose an 11 that are going to be, you know, fit to attack anyway. So we'll have to see, maybe get Wern in there, you know, stick him out wide, because we need that width. Like I say, the first half was piss poor because we had 0 of it. But yeah, so I'm really happy with the 3 points. And for me, my man of the match is absolutely Hoffman. He saved our arse. It could have been 3-4, 5-1 after, you know, that last 20 minutes we got peppered that much. It would have been nice to see us, you know, at least attempt the counter, but we didn't really do that. But, you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, 2-1. My man of the match is Hoffman. So you look, guys, let me know in the comments down below who was your man of the match and what did you think of the game in general yesterday. And did you think Embleton deserved the red card? For me, I do think he did deserve it. Yeah, I think maybe in some games you might see a yellow, maybe. But like I say, for me, I think I can't really complain with a red. I can't go as over the top and say it was never a red at all, like some people say on social media. Because I think, you know, he's given the ref something to do there. He's given the decision to make. And it's gone for the red. So let me know what you think about that as well in the comments. But if you have enjoyed this video, of course, please hit the like button for me. It'd be massively, massively appreciated. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already to become a fully fledged member of the Sarny Army. But for now, you take care. Stay jamming.